Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to cover a new build, which is the support core shout warrior for War vs World Zerg fights. So this build basically heals a lot, and also it can provide a decent amount of Condi cleanses, a decent amount of might, fury, and some other boons, for example like regeneration and almost perma resistance, and also some barriers and also some CCs. It's very survivable, it's very strong, and the heals are really huge, like they consist mostly in huge bursts of heals coming from your shouts and from your staff skills, and also you will have some barriers on your Warhorn. Also, as an elite skill, we run the War Banner, which is very strong to revive allies and to finish the enemies, which is really huge. Mostly because there is so many tools, like for example transfusion from the Scourge, which can revive enemies. So if you finish the enemies with the War Banner, it's such a very good value on an elite skill. This is the build. Before covering it, I want to clarify that this class is mostly a secondary support, so you can run this instead, for example, of a druid or a scrapper or a support tempest or heal vindicator, because the heals are really comparable, if not better. There is a minor flaw, by the way, which is the absence of Condi cleanses, because this class doesn't really provide a lot of Condi cleanses compared to the other classes I just mentioned. So if you want to run this as a secondary support, make sure you have a third support or fourth support also, which can provide Condi cleanses, like for example the Spellbreaker or the Scourge. Okay, let's get into the build now. We run Tactics, Discipline and Defense. On Tactics, we run Roaring Reveil because we need the resistance from the skill 5, and also additional concentration is really needed, and also Fury on the skill 4 is very good to have. Then also here we have this minor trait, Marching Orders. Every 10 seconds we will get a special buff, which is called Soldier's Focus. Whenever we hit an enemy, we expand this buff, which is Soldier's Focus, and we will grant might to our allies. Then here we have Shake It Off. Use Shake It Off automatically when you have a number of conditions on you. So whenever we get one condition on ourselves, we will trigger this trait, and basically it's a stun break and also a huge heal on our allies because of this trait, which makes our shouts to heal allies. And this effect has a 25 seconds internal cooldown. And also the other good part of this trait is that whenever we remove a damaging conditions from our allies, we will heal them for like 700 or so on, not counting the multipliers. So it's very good to have. Basically, whenever we remove a damaging conditions, for example bleeding, burning, poison and so on, and torment, and for example if you remove immobilize, cripple and chill and weakness, these are not damaging conditions, so they will not count for this trait. We will heal our allies for a lot. For example, I Shake It Off healing for like 7k, and I will show you later in a clip. It happened because I removed 4 damaging conditions together with the healing from the Vigorous Shouts trait. Then we have Vigorous Shout. Shout skills heal allies, gain healing power based on your power. So as you can see, the base healing with my gears currently is like 3k without counting any modifiers, so it's really huge. On Discipline we have this trait, which will grant us some adrenaline whenever we swap weapons, and we will need adrenaline for our F1 on this staff. And also it's decent to have for the sword because the F1 will apply immobilize on the enemy. Then Stalwart Focus, increase your incoming healing effectiveness and healing to other allies. We need the 10% healing increase to others, which is huge. Then here we have a 5 seconds cooldown on our weapon swap instead of 9 seconds when we are in combat. Then we have double standards. Banners grant resolution to allies when they are dropped. Pulsing boons applied through banners last longer. This is mainly for the banner of Tactics. which will pulse resistance on allies, and thanks to this we can basically almost apply permanent resistance on our allies combined with the Call of Valor, so we don't really need to reach 100% boon duration, because this effect really provides a lot of boon duration for our banner's boons. So as you can see, I can provide permanent resistance, if it doesn't get stripped, of course, which will happen. Then we have here Burst Mastery, because the other two traits are for damage, and also this one is for damage, but it's also really good because whenever we press our F1, we will get a third of the adrenaline we just spent on the F1, so it's good to spam our F1s more. On defense, we have this trait, Shield Master, reflect missiles whenever you are blocking, gain adrenaline when you block an attack or reflect a missile. So we don't run shield, but we don't really care about the trait's name. We have blocks on our staff skill 5. This is a channeled block. Each time we block, we will get some adrenaline, and we will need a lot of adrenaline because this class really doesn't generate a lot of adrenaline, because this is not Spellbreaker. We don't have the boon removal giving us adrenaline as the Spellbreaker, so we need to have some tools to generate adrenaline. Then here we have gain resistance on ourselves whenever we dodge. You see, almost 4 seconds of resistance just by dodging, so this class really can move a lot around freely, because Cripple, Chill and Immobilize will really not affect you because of the already permanent resistance, and also if you need more resistance you can dodge. This resistance only applies on yourself. Then here we run Cleansing Ire, gain adrenaline when hit, so whenever we get hit, even if the hit is like 1 damage or 10k damage, we will get 1 adrenaline. Remove a condition when you hit with a burst skill, then remove an additional condition for every bar of adrenaline spent. These condi removals only happen on ourselves, so we don't really care because we need to support allies, not ourselves. But still, it's good for the aspect of the gain adrenaline when hit. It's really needed, it's a very strong component of this trait. The gears are for Minstrel, of course, the boring old Minstrel, which is the best stat for supports. We run Superior Rune of the Monk. On the staff, we run Superior Sigil of Renewal and Superior Sigil of Transference. On the sword, we run Superior Sigil of Life, because life is better than Benevolence if we have some barriers, and we have some barriers because Benevolence stacks don't apply to barriers, life stacks just give healing power, and healing power stacks with the barriers, so just go for Superior Sigil of Life, even if the barrier application is minor in this case. And then on the Warhorn, Superior Sigil of Transference for the additional 10% healing. Every trinket is on Minstrel. Ignore the infusions because I use them on another build, so it's just a case that I have precise infusions on these gears. And then the relic, I run Relic of the Trooper. Whenever I press a shout, I will remove 1 condition from every ally which is affected by my shouts, so this is the way to cleanse some conditions. Even with this relic, this build will not provide a huge amount of condi removals, but still without this relic the condi removals will be almost 0, so run this please, there is no other choice. Let's cover the weapon skills. The auto attack on the sword is a simple auto attack, melee auto attack. We don't really need to press this, almost all the time we will have something else to do. The skill 2 is very good and is the reason why we run sword on the main hand, because every main hand weapons on the warriors are just bad for support especially, so the skill 2 is a big mobility skill with a very low cooldown. You see how far you can go with it, and I have it almost ready again because 7 seconds cooldown is really low, and we can use this to catch up on our commander, on our allies. You see this ally almost dying, you can do this and then you cast your banner on him, or cast your shouts, or cast your barriers on him, so you can really use it to catch up or to chase the enemies. And for example, you chase them and then you press your F1 and you immobilize them, or for example you can also use it to disengage from the enemies. You are about to die, you are in a bad spot, you got pulled, you immediately break stun with Shake It Off, you turn around and then skill 2 and you are safe with your commander and with your Zerg. And then the skill 3 is a damage skill. and it's also very slow. The damage is decent, but we have 0 power and 0 ferocity and 0 precision, so this skill is almost never used because our damage is close to 0 anyways. Then on the Warhorn we have the skill 4 and the skill 5. The skill 4 will apply Fury because of the trait. A lot of swiftness, as you can see, 32 seconds, it's just ridiculous, and also some quickness. And also this skill will remove conditions on our allies, and it will remove cripple, immobilize and chill, all of them. And also is a combo finisher blast, so this is why I love Warhorn. The 2 skills on the Warhorn are both very strong. The skill 5 will provide a lot of barrier, like almost 5k if you have the superior sigil of life stacks active, which I don't have now, and also will provide some resistance, almost 5 seconds, vigor for 16 seconds, and also it will remove 3 conditions from our allies, and this is huge because you can remove damaging conditions with this, and damaging conditions, when they are removed, they will heal our allies because of this trait, so it's very huge to know. And also this one is another combo finisher blast, and so you can blast water fields, for example, or if you want to run the relic of Caracosa for the additional blasts, I wouldn't recommend it, just go for the trooper, otherwise you have no Condi cleanses. But if you want to run Caracosa, you can do this, and you can heal your allies whenever you blast finisher, and we have several blast finisher, for example also the Warburner, the battle standard, the skill 4 and the skill 5. A small tip I would like to give you about the Warhorn is you have skill 4 and skill 5, okay? Before using your skill 5, use your skill 4, because with this way you can remove cripple and chill and immobilize, so you are sure that your skill 5 will not remove those conditions. Otherwise, if you go skill 5 first, maybe you will remove cripple, chill and immobilize, and then you press your skill 4 and you will remove nothing because you have already cleared those skills, those conditions. So first remove cripple, chill and immobilize with this. Then if your allies have other conditions, you can remove them safely with the Call of Valor, which is the skill 5. The F1 is a channeled skill which will inflict bleeding on enemies on each hit, and also it will apply immobilize on the enemies on the first hit. So you see, depending on how much adrenaline you spend on it, you will apply some immobilize. It's a 4 seconds immobilize, it's decent to know and to have, but still it's just one application, so the enemies just need a condition removal to remove it fully. The auto attack on the staff consists in 3 chains, and the last chain will apply regeneration in an AoE around us, and also it's very easy to land because it will hit enemies around you and not just in front of you. The skill 2 is very good. It applies Might Fury, and also you get some adrenaline if you apply Might Fury and also heal your allies with this skill. 5 adrenaline is huge, and also provides some damage. Is a leap in front, you can use it to catch up on your commander or to run, as the skill 2 on the sword, so it's easy to remember, skill 2 on the sword and skill 2 on the staff. This is very low cooldown and it provides a good amount of healing, and so it's very good to spam also for the bonus adrenaline. The skill 3 is a very big heal, but it's a bit slow. You see, you dash in front and at the end you will provide Aegis protection, a huge amount of healing, and also you will grant your allies 3 stacks of unblockable, so their next 3 hits will be unblockable on the enemies, and also you will provide weakness on the enemies. The cooldown is a bit high, but it's a very strong skill. The healing is very huge. You can deal like 6k or 7k healing with this skill if you have every modifier active on you, and for example the superior sigil of life stacks. The skill 4 is very similar to the skill 5 from the greatsword on the necromancer. It's a pull in front, it's a bit slower than the necromancer, the range is smaller, and also it cannot go above the walls, but it's good to have. It also has a 18 seconds cooldown instead of 30, which is the scourge pull, so it's good to have. It's a CC, you can really pull an enemy with this and basically end his life, because if you pull him to your Zerg, they should be dead in a matter of seconds. Then the skill 5 is Bullet Catcher, is a channeled block which lasts 2 seconds, And during these blocks, basically you can block an infinite amount of enemies' attacks, but also these attacks will empower your skill 5 when you press it again to a maximum of 3 stacks. You see, I channeled my block. If I manage to block 3 or more attacks from enemies, I can press my skill 5 again and I can empower the healing I would provide. So basically you have this channeled block. At the end you can press your skill 5. The skill 5 will heal allies and also provide resolution, adrenaline. And also if you manage to block 3 attacks, you can increase the healing and the adrenaline you get maximum from 3 attacks. So maximum 3 stacks. You see, I press it again and I have these heals. The F1 on this staff is a big AoE around us, which deals damage on the enemies and a huge amount of healing on our allies, depending on how much adrenaline you just spent. Always try to use the level 3 healing with the maximum adrenaline, and also it will apply regeneration on the allies and some weakness on the enemies. So this is huge, mostly because of the AoE around you, which will heal your allies for a lot. This is like almost 8k with the healing modifiers. The utility skills will be to the limit because it's a very huge heal on ourselves. Also, it's a shout, so we will benefit from vigorous shouts. We can heal allies with it, and also we can with the relic of the trooper we can remove 1 conditions from allies, and also of course we will get 100 endurance on ourselves and also on our allies when we press it, and also 30 adrenaline, which is the maximum. So you see, I double dodge, I have no endurance, I can refill it for me and for my allies. The endurance gain is also for our allies. So it's huge to have, it's the best skill for warrior in my opinion. The others are just bad, or maybe just egoistic. For example, the defiant stance, you will not die for 4 seconds, but if you cannot support your allies, it's useless to be alive. Then we have for Great Justice. This is a very low cooldown. A counter charge is 20 seconds, so it's very low compared to other shouts, and also it can provide a lot of might, 12 stacks for like 10 seconds, and also 13 seconds of fury. So basically it's like almost permanent 12 stacks of might and permanent fury. And also the huge heals from Great Justice is very huge, because like as you can see, 3k, and then after 5 seconds I have my second stack of for Great Justice. I press it again and it's another huge heal. And also another thing I want to clarify is, you see Relic of the Trooper, I can remove 1 condition with my shouts okay, it's good, but it's even better because if I remove a damaging condition with the straight shrug it off, I can also heal for additionally another healing, like 700 heals as I already mentioned. So this is why I chose to run Relic of the Trooper together with the straight. Then we have Shake It Off. The cooldown is a bit higher than for Great Justice, but still is very strong. It doesn't have a second stack as for example for Great Justice. It will break stun on allies and also on ourselves. It's instant, immediate cast. You press it, you can press it even while dodging, of course, or while you are stunned. It will remove 4 conditions from ourselves and from our allies, and of course heal them for the amount of the vigorous shouts. And also if you remove damaging conditions, you will benefit from this trait. So it's huge to have. 4 conditions is so much, it can really carry a fight if you remove a huge stacks of immobilize and chill and cripple, and for example bleeding, burning, or any conditions. Then we have the Banner of Tactics. We place it on the ground. It will apply super speed for 5 seconds, stability for 5 stacks, 8 seconds, then some resolution at the start and some resistance, and this resistance will keep pulsing in the AoE of the banner. So try to place it in a place you are sure you are about to stay for a while, so you can benefit from the full stacks of resistance or almost the full duration. The elite skill is the battle standard. Of course, we don't have the spellbreaker bubble here as an option, and also on the spellbreaker maybe the battle standard could be better depending on the situations. You see, this is the cast range and the cast radius. The smaller radius you can see around me. The small one is to finish the enemies and the big one is to revive allies, so you can both revive allies or finish enemies in a single cast of battle standard. The cooldown is pretty big and also the cast time is 2 seconds, so make sure you have quickness before casting it, and also you will provide resolution at the start, and then you will pulse might, fury and swiftness on the allies almost permanently for the duration. So it's very good to have together with the other skills. You can provide a lot of might and fury and swiftness just by pressing like 2 or 3 skills. This skill is used mostly to finish the enemies and to revive allies, of course, and not for the boons component, but still it's good to know. This is one of the best skills in the game. Make sure the enemies don't have transfusions before casting this, and if they have transfusion, wait for them to summon the downed enemies to the enemy's scourge, and then you are sure you are not missing the battle standard. Let's say we have a downed here. This golem is the enemy scourge. He will apply transfusion. The downies will get teleported to him, and then when they are here, you are coming to them and you press your battle standard onto them, so you are sure to finish every downies which was teleported to the scourge. This is a big counter and also a big synergizes with other scourge. If, for example, the scourge is in your squad, you have scattered downed allies around you, you don't know who to res, you wait for your scourge to press transfusion, it will summon every downies to him, and then you can cast your battle standard on him and you can revive everyone with a single cast. This is very huge to have, and it should be called on voice. If you are on Discord or TeamSpeak, you should be calling your battle standard. The clip I recorded some days ago, so this is the usual commentary in my build videos. What I suggest to do is start from your sword and Warhorn, so you will have your barrier to apply from the skill 5 on the Warhorn to mitigate any damage incoming to your Zerg. Okay, we are coming to the enemies. I cast my banner of tactics on the position we are going, so I am sure we will benefit from the resistance at least for a bit. You see, we stay around here and we will get the pulsing resistance. Then skill 5 immediately for the barrier. Then I have some conditions. Skill 4, I can remove some of them. Immediately swap to staff, because the F1 from the sword is kinda useless if you are not full melee, and even then it's not very good because the immobilize is a single instance and can get cleansed very easily. At this point, F1 to heal your allies, and then the skill 2 and the skill 3. I have nothing left. I use my shake it off to remove conditions. Always keep an eye on your party. You see they had like 3 conditions each. Shake it off, immediately everything is deleted. No conditions at all. Then I have just an healing tool left at this point, which is my 4 Great Justice. I could also use my to the limit. For Great Justice, I used it after I saw some conditions on my allies, because I have the Relic of the Trooper, so my shouts will also provide a Condi cleanse. At this point, wait for the adrenaline to get full again, so I can benefit from the maximum healing for the skill F1. You see, full adrenaline, immediately F1 to heal and also deal some damage around me. Skill 4 for pulling. Then I cast my war banner here. I saw an ally going down and also an enemy going down. My war banner has just revived my ally. Then at this point I'm in a bad spot. Everyone is in a bad spot. This was a bad movement, maybe. So to the limit to heal myself and my allies, and also refill their endurance, so if they were out of endurance they can dodge twice again. On this build, by the way, you camp a lot your stuff because the cooldown on the Warhorn skills are a bit big, so it's like 20 seconds I think, and a weapon swap is just like 5 seconds, so swap once every 2 or 3 F1 from the staff. Skill 5 to block, and then I press it again to apply some heals, and then I have the F1 here. Skill 2 I got interrupted, immediately swap to Warhorn. You see I have my Warhorn skills ready, skill 4 and skill 5. Then at this point I have a bit of skill lag, you see the skills are not working. Okay, shake it off landed, banner of tactics on this position because we are bunkering on it. I have pulsing resistance on myself. I can swap to staff, immediately F1, I try to pull enemies. My allies are full HP. Skill 3, skill 2, you see some healings. Keep in mind that in this squad I had all the time another support with me because maybe the commander didn't trust me or didn't know what I was playing. I thank the commander for accepting me in the squad, but I didn't need another healer to steal my healings. And also, as you can see, I'm still top healing on the arc DPS. Okay, at this point F1 again with the maximum adrenaline, the enemies are just dying. And then I have the chase on them, skill 5, skill 4, the enemies are not surrendering yet to the limit, skill 4 to try to pull some enemies, skill 5, blocking some attacks, then healing, skill 2, skill 3, F1, at this point banner of tactics is all I have left, pulsing resistance is very good to have. At this point I swapped and I try to finish the enemies. I F1 from the sword to immobilize them because I wanted the fight to finish. I see this clip will last a bit because we have another Zerg behind us. So this is a 3-way fight and it happens sometimes that the server will lag. Skill 2, skill 3, skill 4 and skill 5. All of them. Then I press my skill 5 again to heal. Immediately swap to Warhorn, skill 4 and skill 5. This guy died, I don't know how, maybe it got stuck behind. I also tried to shake it off earlier to stun break him, but I think I didn't reach him. Yeah, it just died. At this point, when your Warhorn skills are on cooldown, just wait for the weapon swap and immediately weapon swap to the staff. Okay, I'm almost full adrenaline. I should be waiting for the full adrenaline, so I will heal for more. Okay, I have it now. F1, skill 3, skill 4 for the pull. F1 again to heal, skill 2, healing might and fury, skill 5. And immediately swap to sword and Warhorn. I have my skill 4 and 5 ready again, 4, 5, as I already mentioned earlier. F1 to try to immobilize the enemies because we are bunkering here and the enemies will tank every skill, especially if you immobilize them, they cannot dodge. Then I have full adrenaline again, F1 immediately for great justice. Keep spamming your shouts, don't spam them randomly, use them when your allies have low health or some conditions on them, or preferably both of these situations. As you can see, the scrapper is doing like twice my strips, my Condi cleanses, sorry. So this class alone cannot really Condi cleanse a whole party, but for example, if you have another Condi cleanser, for example like the Vindicator, you are more than fine. At this point the banner of tactics is ready again, we are just bunkering here, I cast it here, so I'm sure the resistance will apply to everyone. F1, battle standard is ready again, I think I didn't finish or revive anyone, but I tried. Skill 5, F1, I have shake it off ready, I try to heal as much as I can. Okay, I swapped to the Warhorn again. I think, okay, we lost the fight, but it's okay, we wiped a Zerg and then we got wiped. Show you some healings done by my skills. As you can see, some people tend to underestimate the healings, but let's see them. You see skill 5, I channel my blocks, then I press it again, and you see like 5k AoE around me. Then I press my F1, and with my F1, let's see how much I can heal. You see almost 9k with a single F1, and this is why you should be running the 3 adrenaline bars on the F1. Wait for the 3 adrenaline bars, because with 1 and 2 you will be just wasting. You don't need adrenaline for this sword. So let's see it again. You see F1, like 7k on this guy, 3k, 4k, 4k and 9k on this guy, because he was the one missing the most health. Then I have the skill 2, if it cast, okay, I got interrupted. Then this, let's see the skill 3 for example. Okay, no, I swapped. Skill 5 from the Warhorn, 5k barrier. This is very good to know, because Sometimes I like to slow my clips to see how much my skills do for damage and also for healing. I know arc DPS will tell me everything, but I need to see it, and also to see how the radius works, how it applies, how it can work in the various situations. So it's good to know. You should be doing this also if you want to improve your gameplay. Always watch your footage. You can see a shake it off cast, and we can see how much it can heal if it will remove some damaging conditions. You see, I press it now and I healed for like 5k and a half on this guy, 4k on this other guy. So it's huge to know and to have. Make sure your shake it off lands on allies which have a lot of conditions on them, or if they need a break stun or a heal, or all of these situations. Guys, this is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think about this build and what build you would like to see next. I'm open to any question and any suggestion. See you on to the next video, and thank you for staying with me. I'm cooking some builds and I can't wait to show you these builds and how they work and how strong they can be. See you on to the next video, and thanks for sticking in. Bye bye and have a great night.